What did they do? Did they age
California
adjust that?
One of the lowest
Bro, that's
crazy. And the most recent
Yo,
came in number 3
Fox
for
News
fourth
is
grade reading.
insane,
California
dude.
was far behind. So you should apologize for not getting your kids in school. Why didn't you get the kids in school in the summer of 2020?
That's crazy. Fox News did that.
The only person didn't do the job.
Sparks fly at the Newsom.
Here in this country now, they've been Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom, Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis will square off tonight.
The great state of California, what is the first ever red state, blue state debate right here on the Fox News channel. Now, we will do our best to give equal time to each governor. We will limit answers to 60 seconds per question. We'll be a little flexible as needed. Let the debate breathe as needed.
If this sucks ass, I'm skipping
time for rebuttal. Let me start by
and I'll watch the fucking
Governor,
top level shit tomorrow.
California Governor Gavin Newsom. Governors, thank you both for being here. Really appreciate it.
Great to be with you,
I know.
But you won't see shit unless you're subscribed, because at the top of the hour there's a 3-minute ad break. Let's go. Here it is.
Your individual states. Yeah. I know you both have a deep and abiding love for our country, as I do. But where we are in the country, we've never kind of been this divided in a long time. There are clear and deep and profound differences in your approach to governance.
Are we actually divided? I don't think we are. I mean, the country is united on, at least politicians are united on fucking Israel.
Running primetime cable host in the history.
That's the #1 topic right now in everyone's minds. And
in my
it seems like everybody's united.
Fox, it's kind of widely known that I am a conservative. However, tonight I will be moderating this debate. I will not be part of the debate.
It's widely known that I'm a conservative, but it's also widely known that I want to suck and fuck Gavin Newsom.
You will see and hear most of tonight's questions will deal with the most fundamental issues, the ones that impact the lives of the people that make this country great. The people in Florida.
Sean Hannity is a conservative, but he unironically, I think, enjoys Gavin Newsom's company a lot more.
Immigration, crime, guns, homelessness, education, parental rights, abortion, gas prices. In other words, the things that impact you every single day. In the end, you will get to decide which governing philosophy you believe is better. The governors will explain their governing philosophy. And again, fact-based questions. So let's get started. Everybody ready?
No, there's no captions.
As we speak, there is a phenomenon. It is playing out across the entire country. Americans, they are leaving blue states in droves in favor of red states. You can see numbers on the screen right now from the years 2021 and 2022. These particular numbers are stark in the state that you lead. In the case of you, Governor Newsom, according to the U.S. Census, this is where the numbers come from. In 2021, 2022, California's lost 750,000 residents to other states. Governor DeSantis, during that same 2-year period, you gained 454,000 residents from other states. So, Governor DeSantis, we had a coin toss. I was not part of it. I missed it. But apparently, Governor Newsom, you won the coin toss.
Damn,
and you
he's such a he is a dub.
DeSantis have the first question. You will get the last word tonight. So I begin with you. You know, for Governor Newsom, I will ask, you know, what your response is on this as well. What do you? It's a simple question. How do you explain this phenomenon? Governor, what's going on?
When I was in the Navy, I got orders to go to Naval Amphibious Base Coronado in Southern California, and I was a lifelong
when I was in the Navy, shut up, bitch. Like, you were a fucking jag lawyer. Jag off.
And I think California has more natural advantages than any state in the country. You almost have to try to mess California up. And yeah, that's what Gavin Newsom has done since he's been governor. He's the first governor to ever lose population. They actually, at one point, ran out of U-Hauls in the state of California because so many people were
The only
leaving.
thing he's
of
right
course,
about.
He's imposed restrictions on his own people while exempting himself.
I need a
from
new
those
Google
restrictions
fucking
and
extension
going to the
that
French
like
laundry
does.
While his people were suffering, he led the country in school closures,
Wait, let me see
locking
something
kids
here.
out of school while he had his
I need
own
a new
kids
like.
in private school.
I need a new
person.
fucking
Now,
extension,
he's very
man.
good at spinning these tales.
I need a
He's
new
good
caption
at
extension.
being slick and slippery. He'll tell a blizzard of lies to be able to try to mask the failures.
Let me see.
But the reality is they have failed because of his leftist ideology. And the choice for America is this. What Biden
Gavin Newsom didn't fucking hemorrhage people because of leftist ideology. He hemorrhaged it because of right-wing ideology, neoliberalism.
Principles work. This country must choose freedom over failure.
Governor Newsom, your reaction.
Well, it's good to be with you, Sean. It's nice also to see you in a tie as well tonight. Good to be with you, Ron. And I
dressed up for the occasion, Governor.
No, I'm impressed and I'm grateful. Look, it's an important occasion. This is an important conversation, and I think it's
shut up.
Just
say your answer, dumbass.
What are we actually doing here? And I want to answer that very directly. I'll tell you why I'm here. I'm here to tell the truth about the Biden-Harris record and also compare and contrast Ron DeSantis' record and the Republican Party's record as a point of contrast that's as different as daylight and darkness. You want to bring us back to a pre-1960s world, America in reverse. You want to roll back hard-earned national rights on voting rights, on civil rights, on LGBTQ rights, on women's rights, not just access to abortion, but also access to contraception. You want to weaponize grievance. You are focusing on false separateness. You in particular, Ron, are on a banning binge, a cultural purge, intimidating and humiliating people you disagree with. You and President Trump are really trying to light democracy on fire. So, Sean, there are profound differences tonight. And I look forward to engaging. But there's one thing in closing that we have in common is neither of us will be the nominee for our party in 2024.
Governor, great opening statement, but it did not address the issue. Can you explain this migration out of California and going to red state, blue state?
Well, hold on. You mean the last 2 years?
Wait, what? Why is it not working? What the fuck? Drop your subtitles? Wait, what? Wait, this is for me to Man, I don't want to fucking drop my own subtitles. I want you to fucking do the subtitling. What the hell?
Dominate. #1 manufacturing state. We dominate in two-way trade and research and development.
No, I have the live captions.
More scientists,
it sucks,
more researchers,
chat.
more engineers, more Nobel laureates
it sucks.
in the state of California than any other state
I'm deleting
in the
this
nation.
shit.
The finest system of higher education. It's the birthplace of life science and biotech and nanotechnology. We dominate in green tech. We dominate in high tech. We dominate in artificial intelligence. So with respect, I think it's an interesting campaign strategy for Ron DeSantis to be bashing a state of 40 million Americans when California simply has no peers.
Well, that's a pretty slick way of not answering your question. He went on a binge of putting out a lot of left-wing platitudes.
He's right.
I would say.
Ron DeSantis is right.
Would have moved from California to Florida, and we never used to get people from California to Florida or really anywhere in the East, because why would you leave California? It's got the best weather, great natural forces. Excuse me, sir. But one of the things that I did, I was talking to a gentleman, a couple.
Guys, I'm going to let the debate breathe. But it's his turn. Let's take turns.
So I was talking to a fella who had made the move from California to Florida, and he was telling me that Florida is much better governed, safer, better budget, lower taxes, all this stuff. And he's really happy with the quality of life. And then he paused and he said, by the way, I'm Gavin Newsom's father-in-law. So we do count Gavin's in-laws as some of the people that have fled California and come to the state of Florida.
Damn, that's dude. He's taking pot shots.
We have a 50-year low in the.
Bro, he studied the blade. He's fucking going way harder on Gavin than he is on Trump.
California's had a 45% increase in homelessness. We back the blue. I was walking the streets of San Francisco a couple months ago, and I had some of the cops in San Francisco do a beeline to come over to me, and I didn't know what they were going to say. And they're like, we want to thank you for standing for law enforcement because we don't get that support in the state of California. So people understand quality of life matters. They understand that Florida's doing it right, and I can tell you the numbers speak for themselves. We have way more people moving to this state than leaving. Gavin can't say the opposite. More people are leaving California than are moving into California.
Let me bring up
coming to California the other way around the last 2 years. But let's talk about crime.
Governor, hold on. Governor, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
He said a lot of things that were factually untrue, including that 50-year crime low, which his own law enforcement team said you should not be using.
You have yet to address the issue, but I asked you twice. You don't want to answer it. But the issue of why the migration out of red states. I'm sorry, out of blue states.
We just
should have a better answer for
Floridians
this.
coming to California in the last 2 years than the
overall. You had a net loss of 7.
It's a fact.
Asserted it.
It's a fact.
No, it's not.
He can't say it. It's because his life is too expensive. It's because of his neoliberal fucking policies or his lack of interest in actually.
California's highest.
No, it's not taxes, man. It's not taxes. Shut the fuck up. God, I hate these pieces of shit.
Median income of $84,000. They have a 6% income tax in the state of California. Florida's income tax rate is 0% across all salaries, but it goes beyond income taxes. Property taxes are lower in California, but everything else is higher. Let's take a look at the numbers. These are the facts. The average property tax in California,
Bro, my man is the moderator, by the way.
Tax, California.
This is such a funny thing to. What an awesome moderator Sean Hannity is.
77 cents a gallon. That is a low estimate. It's up to $1 when you include
Gavin
mandatory
Newsom getting
fees.
fucking
And in
cooked
Florida,
at
it's
2v1
35 cents.
here.
Corporate income tax, California 8.84%, Florida 5.5%. Governor Newsom, this is your question. Let me ask you. Obviously, you support a different philosophy, which is higher taxes.
Yes. No, hold on.
No, this is a tax question, Governor.
This is a very different approach, and I agree with you completely. He has one of the most regressive tax rates in the United States of America. It's the #3 most regressive state in America. And what that means is simply this. Who does he tax? He taxes low-income workers more than we tax millionaires and billionaires in the state of California. The question is a simple one. Who, Ron, are you for? It's a factual lie that the state of California is high tax, has the highest tax rate.
God damn
but
it.
for whom? And it's a foundational and fundamental difference. You look at states like Texas.
No, nothing leaks. Shut the fuck up,
Overwhelming
chatters.
majority
I'm trying to
of Texans pay
fucking
more
turn on my settings.
taxes than the state of California. So again, it's who you're for, and I think those values matter. And I appreciate you bringing up the issue of taxes.
How many people leave Florida to go to California because they pay less taxes? I've not seen that. Are people going from Florida to New York because they pay less taxes? Of course not. They come to Florida because they pay lower taxes. We don't even have an income tax. And yet California has a higher sales tax than we do, and that's one of the things that we do. But here's the thing.
People don't leave California because of high taxes. People leave California because of inflation. People who leave California because of inflation on important things like necessary for survival, like homes. That's it. It's the housing prices. That's it. That's the major reason. People leave California because rent is too high. Housing is impossible to find. There's no affordable housing. There's not enough housing. There's not enough affordable housing. All the new housing projects are unironically incredibly expensive. They're not actually solving the problem. That's it. That's it. It makes me so mad. It makes me so mad that they're talking about fucking taxes. California has a fucking $250 billion budget surplus over the course of like, what, 3 fucking years? $88 billion a year or some shit like that. Because during COVID, when the K-shaped recovery happened, all the fucking rich people stayed in fucking California and they paid their goddamn taxes willingly and knowingly, myself fucking included. It's the housing prices that are too damn high. That's the problem. That's why people leave.
Because, yeah, they've got Silicon Valley billionaires. They've got a lot of very wealthy people. They've got a lot of people that are on government assistance, but they've hollowed out their middle class. That's who's been leaving California. They've been leaving in other places. They go to Arizona. They go to Nevada. They go to all these places.
Let me just
like Biden is hollowing out this country.
I do have a follow-up question.
In California.
Ron, I'm happy that you continue to talk. Let's talk a little bit about Bidenomics, because I'm happy to take that on.
Oh,
right now
you
as well.
fucking asshole!
I think it's a fair
big
point.
Supporter of it. I appreciate you acknowledging
14 million jobs, 10 times more than the last 3 Republican presidents combined.
Because he had
815,000 manufacturing
the jobs were because of the COVID lockdowns. Are you kidding me?
3.9% unemployment. As he continues to talk over me, I'll talk to the American people. 3.9% unemployment, the lowest black unemployment in American history, the lowest unemployment for Hispanics in American history, the lowest unemployment for women in 70 years, the lowest black poverty rates in history. That's this administration's agenda. And by the way, as you smile and smirk over there, you should know this, the American people. Here's a guy who celebrated Bidenomics just this week, celebrating $28 million that came into your state because of the CHIPS and Science Act, one of the most significant economic plans since FDR. I'm proud of the work Biden and Harris have done.
I found it.
Would you like to respond? And I do have a follow-up.
1 second.
The 6% rate on people, families, couple in California, they pay 6% income tax on $84,000 a year.
Low-wage workers in the state of Florida pay more than billionaire state of California.
I didn't ask about Florida.
Governor, but here's, let me ask the question. Let me ask the question. Let me answer the question.
Okay.
California has lower taxes, lower than 32 states for working families in the middle class, significantly lower taxes than places like Texas.
You support a 6% income tax for people, a couple
I'm
making
against
$84,000.
regressive taxes that advantage billionaires and millionaires over working families and the working poor. People in his state pay more taxes on the low end than we tax people on the high end.
How does paying $7 a gallon gas help working people? That doesn't help working people at all. How does paying an 8%
I can purchase live captions on Windows?
That doesn't help working people at all. They have the highest taxes in the nation. People flee to be able to save money to get out of California. And you have working class people that move to these other states. Their dollars go much further. But here's the thing. They want to take this Bidenomics and they want to double down on this for the next 4 years. How many people are able to afford groceries now compared to what you were doing 3 or 4 years ago? I talked to people, you know,
look at that.
I talked to a woman who had a cart full of groceries going in, and they're ringing it up. And it got to be so expensive, she has to take a lot of the stuff out. That didn't used to be the case. People used to be able to work hard and get ahead. That is not true under Joe Biden. And you know what, Sean, one more final thing. California's unemployment rate is 60% higher than Florida's unemployment rate. Our unemployment rate is 2.8%.
That dovetails into my next question,
Why?
Governor.
Because it's a command and control economy. They have a political agenda that they're pursuing.
Let me ask that question. Honor the question of jobs. I think it's important. You know what? That affects. That affects everybody.
Biden administration, the last 3 years, it's been a master
Joe Biden paying you tonight
3.9%.
I thought this was state versus state.
No, but it's about the United States of America. I thought this guy was running for president of the United States.
If you are too. You just won't admit it.
Running for a third term.
You just won't admit it. You will not admit it. Why don't you just admit that you're running?
Hold on.
All right, we can't talk. We can't talk. I'm going to move on to the next question. The unemployment rate in Florida right now is just 2.8%. As you stated. And California ranks second worst in the country at 4.8%. Hold on. This question goes to Governor DeSantis, and then you'll have a chance to respond. Governor DeSantis.
Well, right. I mean, they tax too much. They regulate too much. They have a political agenda. It's not a good climate for business. They've lost a lot of companies. A lot of companies have moved to Texas. We have had some to Florida, but they've lost a lot of companies to Texas because they're not doing a good job looking out for folks and not creating a good business environment. And, you know, when I have people that come to Florida, they tell me, you know, you guys actually want us to succeed in Florida. And they feel like when they're in California,
people are always coming up to DeSantis and saying things, dude. Always saying things that he wants to hear. You know what I'm saying?
Point with Disney because
it's crazy.
Disney
it's crazy how many people come up to him.
We made him a fortune, and we saved a lot of jobs,
including that baby.
Disney closed inexplicably for over a year. You were not following science. You were a lockdown governor. You did a lot of damage to your people. You had more kids locked out of school for a longer period of time in California than anywhere else in the country. It was the working class kids. It was the middle income kids. His kids were in private school.
Problem is, he would never be able to fucking run the table like this. He can only get away with this when, you know, Sean Hannity on Fox News is letting him do this. He can't do this with Donald Trump. It's 2v1, you know what I mean?
State of California did. You closed down your beaches, your bars, your restaurants.
False.
It's a fact.
You
had quarantines. You had quarantines. You had checkpoints all over the state of Florida. By the way, I didn't say that. Donald Trump laid you out on this. Dead to right. You did that. You followed science. You followed Fauci.
That's not false.
He followed science. He followed Fauci. You were promoting. Hold on. You were promoting vaccines. You were promoting vaccines. You even wore a mask in September. Sean,
you were closed.
If it's okay with you, we'll do this.
Why were you closed?
Why don't we do this in a way where we both can have
Why were you closed for so long?
You wore a mask with Donald Trump outside
I'm trying to let it breathe.
in September 2020. He did all of that until he decided to fall prey to the fringe of his party. And as a consequence of that, Ron, tens of thousands of people lost their lives.
Not true.
The equivalent, if I had your policies, the equivalent of 10 9/11s. Tens of thousands of people lost their lives. And for what, Ron?
Those are more lies. In fact, the Lancet just did a study. Florida had a lower standardized COVID death rate than California did. That's a Lancet study. One more thing.
Standardized.
The other thing California had. California had higher excess mortality than.
All right, gentlemen.
Let me
standardized. Notice how he snuck that in there. Standardized. Okay, bro.
Slow down. I want everyone to be heard. If I can ask you, I really do want this to breathe. I want this debate to breathe. I want it to organically developed. To do that, I need both your cooperation. I don't want to be a homeowner.
9/11 is the new standard, is the new metric
system. You mentioned COVID. Let me go to COVID. And I plan to bring this up later, but you both took very different approaches as it comes to COVID. Governor Newsom, you issued the nation's first stay-at-home order on March 19th of 2020. Governor DeSantis, you took a lot of heat for reopening schools. You opened schools in Florida in August of 2020. All right, so here's the data, which I think is important. This is where the facts come in. Your state's death rates were almost identical.
This is factually untrue.
Hold on.
Factually untrue.
Okay. And by the way, both your states, with such different approaches, which is pretty fascinating, were both lower, significantly lower than the national average. These numbers come straight from the CDC. Yeah. So, Governor Newsom, how do you explain that?
The facts. Per capita death rates in the state of Florida were 29%, 29% per capita higher. 29%.
That's not what the stats say right there.
Tens of thousands of people unnecessarily died.
Don't lie about it. He put the graphic up there. Don't lie about it.
Don't lie about it.
Lie about it.
Because your policies.
Just understand.
You're lying
you don't need to lie
record.
about it. No, it's not.
You were a lockdown governor.
No, it's
you
not.
locked down.
One at a time. Gavin Newsom, finish your thought.
Beaches, bars, and restaurants. That's just a fact. He's running away from his record. He's running away from the fact. Tens of thousands of people died unnecessarily
you saw the CDC
because he
numbers.
caved to the. It's 29% higher death rate in the state of Florida versus the state of California.
Okay, quick response, Governor.
You showed the stats. The stats are very clear.
One at a time.
On a per capita age-adjusted basis, California and Florida basically the same. Now, why is that important? Because Gavin Newsom did huge damage to people in California. He ruined livelihoods. We reopened the state very quickly. We saved thousands of jobs. We saved hundreds of thousands of jobs, thousands of businesses. We had our kids in school. He had the kids locked out of school because of the teachers union. That is having a generational
What did they do?
impact.
Did they age adjust
California
that?
is one of the lowest
Bro, that's
literacy rates
crazy.
in the most recent
Yo,
came in number 3
Fox
for
News
fourth grade
is
reading.
insane,
California
dude.
was far behind. So you should apologize for not getting your kids in school. Why didn't you get the kids in school in the summer of 2020?
That's crazy. Fox News did that.
The only person
didn't do the job.
Insane, bro.
The only person who
One at a time, quick answer.
Is Ron
California's
DeSantis,
numbers is 256 per 100K
because he played to the fringe.
Oh my gosh, Sean Hannity's such a fuck. Dude. Ron DeSantis doing age-adjusted numbers is different. Okay? Ron DeSantis doing age-adjusted numbers is different than Fox News' supposed neutral moderator doing that. That's crazy. Florida's COVID deaths per capita number. Florida's COVID deaths per capita numbers is at 404, okay, per 100,000 people as of March 10th, 2023. Okay? California's 100,000 per capita numbers is 256. So either Sean Hannity just unironically put California's full numbers and then put Florida's numbers only for like the aging population or something, or I don't know what the fuck just happened. Like that's where did he get that number from? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. He said CDC, except like this is CDC numbers too. Do they have the national one? The graph said 289. COVID mortality for age-adjusted death rates is the numbers that they're trying to show on. Ron said it was age-adjusted numbers. I know, but that doesn't change. That doesn't matter, okay? First of all, your population is who you have. This notion that like we're doing age-adjusted population rather than like the population that you actually have is fucking psychotic. Okay? Of course the death rate in Florida is higher than the death rate in California, guys. Come on. Are you insane? Of course it is. California death rate 99.9. Let's see what Florida's is. Florida is 111.7. And this is age adjusted, isn't it? California's age adjusted death rate is 99.9. Florida's is 111.7. So even when it's age adjusted, Florida's still higher. What the fuck? Which, by the way, age adjusted death rate per capita is a fucking ridiculous argument. That's in 2021. In 2020, what is it? Age adjusted 68, 56. That's probably, that could be a reporting error, but it still doesn't matter. Age adjusted is a fucking ridiculous argument to make in this situation because age adjusted is a ridiculous argument to make in this situation because, like, you do COVID policy not by what you're fucking not by like some other not by looking at like some other factors. You look at it by who is in your population. You're responsible for the entire population of your state. What the fuck? Trends in the United States, COVID-19 hospitalizations, deaths by geographic area. Total deaths per 100,000 crude. 373. California, cumulative deaths total 281. What's the argument for adjusting by age? I guess the argument for adjusting by age is that Florida has more old people. That's why. Like, there's more old people that retire in Florida, so that's why they're going to have more deaths, is what they're trying to say. But even then, it's like, okay, well, you should be extra careful then. Like, what the fuck? It makes no sense.
And welcome back to Hannity as we continue our blue state, red state debate with Governor Gavin Newsom and Governor Ron DeSantis. Gentlemen, let's move on to the issue of borders. Joe Biden's message to illegal immigrants during his campaign was, let them come. I'd have the tape, but I said I wouldn't play the tape. And since taking office, Biden said he's gotten control of the border. Vice President Kamala Harris.
Carter just gave us something incredible.
Security Secretary Mayorkas, Biden's press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre have all said the border is either secure or the border is closed. Yet the Border Patrol says, well, guess what? They have been a record 6.5 million encounters with illegal immigrants. And
you can toggle captions in the future.
Since President Biden
Carter just told
the administration.
Hold on, I'm going to pause for a second. Well, not pause it, but like stop it for a second. Don't know if you know this, but Twitch supports closed captions now from your OBS, so it will add a button below your Twitch player. Chat is probably be stoked about it. It's a thing you can toggle as a viewer by the quality selector below. The stream is sick and doesn't break anything. There you go. You'll be able to now toggle on your captions if you want.
Those are the numbers from our own Border Patrol. Are the American people being lied to?
I don't think they're being lied to. The Biden administration put out a comprehensive plan day one when he got sworn into office.
That doesn't work if you mute it.
The Republican Party didn't touch it. They haven't.
No, this caption doesn't work if I mute it.
And I'll be honest with you. I think there's probably one person I wouldn't listen to on this topic more than the guy that I'm standing next to, Ron DeSantis. He lacks any credibility on the issue of immigration.
But I put it on desktop audio, so they won't be able to hear my
supported amnesty.
voice.
You supported John Boehner's bill. It's a fact.
False.
When you were in Congress, you supported
Obama's.
You supported Obama's efforts to advance comprehensive reform.
False.
The last guy you want to talk to on
the
issue,
where's my fucking roadcaster here?
Can best be described as a governor.
Now you can hear it. Now I'll caption my voice.
Going into another state, the state of Texas,
and you'll be able to see it.
To migrants, promising them jobs and housing, sending them to an island, Martha's Vineyard, and then sending them to a parking lot in Sacramento, California. I met with those migrants that you lied to under false pretense.
Is it
that
Bud?
Kind of gamesmanship, using human beings as pawns, I think is disqualifying. So again, a guy who stands here, who's been out on the Republican debate stage saying, well, he's going to be tough, he's going to shoot people with backpacks, and that he has a strategy to potentially even invade our second largest trading partner, Mexico.
It looks
that has a record of supporting amnesty and supporting reforms under the Obama administration is the last guys to be standing on stage talking about the issue of immigration.
Oh, God, they should keep the camera away from Ron.
It's deja vu all over again with that flurry of lies.
They should keep the camera away from Ron, dude.
The administration is not lying to the public.
It's not good.
About the border. They go to the White House briefing
It's not
room every
good
day.
when they show Ron.
Secure.
Not good at all.
They are lying to you. We know that that's not true. Gavin Newsom is lying to you when he says somehow I supported these things, which I didn't do.
Where are the captions? I'm trying to find
you
it.
About what it's going to take to solve this problem. California is a sanctuary state. They thumb their nose at federal immigration law, and this has real consequences. There was an illegal alien, Herbert Nixon Flores, who was in L.A., in custody. He was a repeat criminal. ICE wanted to take him into custody because then they would be able to deport him. L.A. refuses to work with ICE, and so they wouldn't turn him over. They end up releasing him on the street. He ends up murdering the mother of a 3-year-old little.
Hit him with the empirical evidence right now, you fucking bitch-made motherfucker. Do it. Come on. You're handsome as fuck. Do it. Do it. Do your job. Do your job. Talk to him. Tell him about the fucking Cato study. Tell him about the other study that was conducted in fucking Texas about how undocumented citizens are responsible for less crime per capita than documented U.S. citizens, than natural-born U.S. citizens, and certainly even naturalized U.S. citizens. Come on.
They don't want to
you fucking better hit him with that. If you're not what good are you here if you're going to sit here and fucking eat this shit? I hate this fucking anecdotal bullshit, okay? Yes, crime is an inevitability, okay? When humans are with one another, there's always going to be fucking crime. That's why we need law and order, bitch.
We'd be much better
on the same topic. On the same topic.
No, don't shut the fucking what?
Very important question. While some migrants I know want to come to America for a better life for themselves and their family, find the American dream, I totally sympathize with them. Many good people fleeing very bad situations abroad.
Oh my God! Oh my God! It just don't change the fucking subject.
And in the process, in search of where they're coming from, well, we're now learning that many are coming from some of our top geopolitical foes, countries with little to no vetting, or people that are coming in. They're not being vetted. Look at these numbers. Between October 2021, October 2023, border agents encountered
what is this 2v1?
86 nationals from Afghanistan.
Bro, Gavin is getting cooked, dude.
3,153 from Egypt, 659 from Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, 538 from Syria, 12,605 from Russia, and a whopping 26,113 from China. Now, my question, the next question goes to you, Governor Newsom. What are the odds that Biden's open borders have allowed terrorists and terror cells unvetted into this country? Is that a present danger to every
What a
American?
stupid argument.
100%.
God damn.
Of course our
Bro just unconditionally said everyone coming in from fucking Muslim countries are terrorists, dude. I'm losing my fucking mind, brother. That's crazy.
Having 8 million come in. And yes, there's criminal aliens. There are terrorists. There's a lot of fentanyl. That we've had tens of thousands of fentanyl deaths. I've met a lot of angel parents who have lost kids to fentanyl overdose, and the problem is, you'll have a college kid that may take some pill not knowing that there's fentanyl in it, and then right there that can be fatal. They're poisoning our people, and Joe Biden is sitting on his hands. He refuses to take care of the border. He refuses to hold the drug cartels accountable. This is the vision of Biden, Harris, Newsom. Open borders, Americans suffer, and Americans continue to die because of fentanyl overdose. There will be, unfortunately, a terrorist attack at some point that we'll be able to trace back to our southern border.
God forbid. By the way, do you see that risk,
God forbid.
Governor, do you see the risk?
Joe Biden put out not only a comprehensive plan, he consistently puts up plans. Hold on, no, but Sean,
yeah, he's going to be like, Joe Biden built the wall, man. Sick. I hate this fucking country so much. God, I hate my governor. He's such a fucking idiot.
I'm the only guy here that's a border state governor. You're trolling folks and trying to find migrants to play political games to try to get some news and attention so you can
get them.
Trump. And by the way, how's that going for you, Ron? You're down 41 points in your own home state. On the issue of immigration, Joe Biden.
Okay, I take it back. I spoke too soon. That was good. That was good. That was good.
In front of Congress, 2,300 border agents, as well as custom officials, 1,000 new law enforcement officers to deal with the fentanyl issue. And by the way, that's a major issue in your state. 41% higher overdose rates than the state of California. And here's what I haven't heard: not a peep from Ron DeSantis. They want to demagogue this issue. You want to play politics with issues. You don't want to solve this issue. Why don't you lead your party and support that $14 billion package?
Hold on. I have a follow-up. Governor Newsom, I appreciate your answer. You have mentioned comprehensive immigration reform many times. It's not happened under Joe Biden. I don't think it's going to happen next year.
Put a detailed plan in. Republicans in Congress refused to act on it.
Let me finish my
Congress
question.
To work
my
with this administration.
Was, with all of these millions and millions of people coming into this country,
he was cooking him so hard, Hannity had to step in, dude.
This a clear and present
Gavin was cooking him so hard. Sean literally would be like, Governor Newsom, please stop. Please stop cooking him.
And what do you do in the interim?
Governor Newsom, please stop. You're hurting our boy.
Package in front of Congress they can act on today.
And what would that?
They haven't done anything in 2 years.
Do?
This Congress,
what do you
literally
support?
not a single piece.
You support a border wall?
Bro, Sean Hannity's doing a better job debating Gavin Newsom than Ron DeSantis.
2,300 border agents and customs officials. By the way, also includes $850 million in new technology for border security. You hear nothing from Ron DeSantis. You hear nothing, Sean, respectfully. You hear nothing from the Republican Party. They play politics.
I'm almost out of time. The president
put the plan up to address the anxiety around
Let me ask
security.
the question another way. Does it worry you that our top geopolitical foes, the #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran, China, Russia, Afghanistan, Syria, that they're at our southern border? You're a border state governor. Does that concern you at all?
Why else would I have put the answer is yes. Why else would I put the National Guard? Why would I have just increased it by 50% on the largest port in the Western Hemisphere in my state? I mean, this guy has no record. The fact that you supported amnesty, the fact you supported Obama,
that's a lie.
Reforms, those are facts. They're just simple
guys.
lies.
By the way, okay, debate or not, it's fucking disgusting to me that they're like Gavin Newsom idiotically trying to outflank Ron DeSantis by being like, I'm really tough on border crimes. Shut the fuck up, dumbass. What are you saying? Talk about the positives.
Solve this problem. Is there anybody out there that actually believes this? Joe Biden created this problem. So if he's willing to lie to you about that,
I hate the Democrats so much.
About all these other facts and figures, about all this other stuff. He's just throwing stuff out to see what sticks against the wall. This is a slick, slippery politician whose state is failing. People are leaving his state, and he's trying to run interference for his failure.
We've got to take our second break. We're gonna when we come back.
Dude, okay. I fucking hate this. I hate this so much. I hate this like debate because like it's a 2v1 to begin with. Sean Hannity unironically keeps literally posting fake news, okay, or irrelevant information. Sean Hannity is cutting in between. When Gavin Newsom is cooking Ron DeSantis super hard, he cuts in to like, pull the chair from underneath him. Okay, keeps taking the ball away exactly. But also on top of that, Gavin Newsom is doing the most annoying shit possible. Talking about like, oh, you don't understand. Biden is actually really strong on borders. Bro, you're on Fox News. Are you fucking stupid? Are you actually stupid? No one is going to believe you. Okay? This is the entire problem with the Democratic Party's policies in general. The idea that you can be tough on the border crimes or whatever and like try to outflank Republicans is stupid. Republicans will always be able to defeat you in the racism agenda, okay? In the racism Olympics, the Republicans are always going to win. You cannot out-racist the Republicans, okay? So the notion that you're not going to offer an alternative solution to talk about like how immigrants are the backbone of our economy, like all these things that Democrats at the very least historically used to say that they don't even say no more, spells trouble for the future of this country. Okay? Democrats at least used to fake it and be like, immigrants, this is a nation of immigrants. Diversity is our strength. Meanwhile, now you got Gavin Newsom being like, no, you don't understand. I'm literally going to murder Mexican babies, okay? I'm going to murder them myself. You don't get it. Like, I'm the most racist, dog, not you. You don't even have a border. I have a border. Thank God I have a border so I can kill more fucking Hispanic people coming over the border and also the terrorists. All you do when you fucking present the argument like that in the eyes of the Republicans and the reactionaries that are watching, All you've done now is basically legitimize the problem. They're never going to look at you honestly and go, yeah, I think you are doing a good job. I think you guys are actually doing a good job on the border stuff, because Americans are already polarized. They're already like, you're not doing anything to gain conservative voters. Conservative voters might leave the Republican Party, but they won't leave because a Democrat said, no, actually, I'm the most racist on the border stuff. They'll leave the Republican Party if they fucking personally feel like what the Republican Party is doing is like unimaginably cruel and evil and actually hurting them personally, like the abortion ban, right? Capitulating to the Republicans, on the other hand, is not an effective strategy, because all you've done now is legitimize their policies. You've made it seem as though their policy provisions are actually correct, and they're always going to beat you in that. They're always going to beat you on those policies. We've been doing this for years and years and years, by the way, which is precisely the reason why America has become increasingly more right-wing on the issue of immigration. Very frustrating stuff to watch. Okay? Wouldn't the same audience despise the immigrants of the backbone argument? It don't matter. It doesn't matter if they fucking... At that point, you're at the very least doing the less bad option. Optically speaking, if the audience is going to despise you because you're a Democrat anyway, the least you can do is defend your position and show at least the secondary market that's going to be watching the debate, like us and maybe Democrats on Twitter and Democrats that will watch it on fucking CNN later when they play the highlights, will look at that and go, yeah, he did a good job defending this position. Do you understand? Bernie Sanders did this perfectly when he went on Fox News and he did the town halls and stuff. He did it perfectly, straight up.
All right, welcome back to the great Blue State.
That was a short-ass ad break.
With Governor Gavin Newsom, Governor Ron DeSantis. Again, thank you both for being here. We're going to take a little breathing room. I don't mind the debate taking on a life of its own, but let each other breathe. I don't want to be the hall monitor. Please don't turn me into that. Anyway, let's look at the issue of crime. FBI numbers,
he doesn't want to be the hall monitor. He wants to be the guy who fucking owns
Keep in mind,
Gavin.
this statistic shows what is the combined rate of homicide, rape, robbery, aggravated assault, the year 2022. On the national level, the rate was 380.7 offenses per 100,000 people. In California, meanwhile, the rate was much higher, 499.5 offenses per 100,000. In Florida, lower, 258.9
Is this age adjusted too? They're like, hey guys, this is also, this is poverty adjusted or some shit.
Way higher than the national average. How do you explain that when safety and security, I would argue, is a prerequisite for the pursuit of happiness?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. We're near 50-year lows, down 55% violent crimes in the state of California from the 1990s. And I want to compare and contrast that with the issue in Florida that you didn't mention, and that's the murder rate. And let's broaden it more broadly. The issue is 7 of the top 10.
Those numbers were part of the murder rate. 7
of the top 10 murder rates in the United States of America are red states. He has a 66%
gun violence, baby.
Gun death rate.
Flip the
in
script.
The state of California has a higher murder rate. Go to places like Jacksonville. Go to places like Orlando. Go to places like Tampa. The murder rate's off the charts compared.
No, the
to
homicide
like
rate is much lower.
And you know
it's
what?
supposed
Even
to be
more
lower.
Sean, and
Wait,
I think
this is
important.
homicide
American
mortality. Is this also age adjusted? Are you fucking kidding me?
You had one of the worst mass shootings in
What
American
the
history,
fuck?
Parkland. 17 kids were gunned down, lives lost.
Dude,
17
shut
others,
the fuck
lives
up.
torn asunder.
What is this
you
shit?
Had a young girl by the
what
name
is
of
age
Jamie
adjusted mortality?
Gutenberg, whose father pleaded with you to do something about it. And you know what you did? They did the exact opposite. You made it easier for felons to get guns without background checks, without any training. These people pleaded with you, the parents and the families, to get tough on gun safety. And again, you made it easier for felons. He said of you, Ron, and I agree with him, after you signed that concealed carry
I think that means they take out deaths of old age. Brother,
age-adjusted
homicide? What is a death of old age when it comes to homicide?
Called you weak, pathetic, and small. So with respect, I appreciate you're talking to police officers in the state of California. You may want to spend a little bit more time, not on the Ohio Trail and other places across this country. You may spend a little more time back in your home state and address the murder
what do you mean?
And gun violence.
Mercy killings?
So this is the slick politician. You put up the rates. He has 500 per 100,000. Florida is 250. So that's almost twice as much. And he's trying to spin that to say California's doing good. People are leaving California in droves, largely because public safety has collapsed. They have, I mean, you go, when Californians come to Florida, one of the things they'll say, it's almost like an out-of-body experience. They can go to the store, get toothpaste off the shelf, pay for it, and leave, because in a lot of these places in California, everything's under lock and key because they've basically legalized retail theft. They have chosen in California to put the interests of the criminals over public safety. They treat they're easier on sex offenders. They're easier on all
violent
these crimes that are leading to a collapse in the quality of life. And if you just walk around San Francisco, you will see, and I think it's interesting, Gavin Newsom was mayor of San Francisco. So he took the San Francisco model, turned that into a template for California's collapse. Now the left wants to take the California model and use that as a template for America's collapse. We cannot let that happen.
Not homicides.
No. I got a follow-up question. You brought up
Jacksonville, Florida.
No. Violent crime. The numbers that they showed was the violent crime numbers. Gavin Newsom's retaliation was homicide.
The next question dovetails into this.
It's 75% higher.
Let me also say,
what are you talking about
when it comes to this? I know you like to jabber.
By the way, those are all easily
I know you like to lie.
Anytime you're uncomfortable,
he put the statistics up there.
Those are all
your crime is higher.
We know
your crime is higher.
Gentlemen,
what are you
I'm going to move on.
The gun murder rate in your state?
We'll let the audience. We'll let the audience look at the numbers, the FBI numbers, and decide. According to the gun control advocacy group, every town for gun safety. Okay. California has the most, as you support, I know, Governor, restrictive gun laws in the United States. Yes. Florida has the 19th most restrictive. Yet, if you look at the year 2019, when each of you took office, California has had 21 mass shootings. Florida has had 9. Now, that is according to a USA Today, AP, Northeastern University
so funny,
database.
Bro, this is a ridiculous, dude. This is literally like, what were they doing yesterday when they were talking about Nikki Haley and they were trying to find favorable numbers? And they were like, Nikki Haley is only 20 points down from Trump if you look at people making over $150,000 a year. And it's like, first of all, you use 2019 numbers. Secondly, what a fucking psychotic argument. It's not just mass shootings, it's gun deaths. And California absolutely eviscerates Florida on that metric every single fucking time.
Because they don't get the support from the communities that they need. And, you know, Gavin told another lie. He said we made it easier for felons to do. Felons are not allowed to possess firearms. That's federal law. That's been long-standing.
No background checks.
That is an absolute lie that he's saying like
the
that.
murder rate is higher in Florida. Homicide is higher in Florida. Like 100%. Gun violence is higher in Florida. Homicide is higher in Florida. Violent crime in general is higher in California.
They are on an ideological joyride to let people out of prison early, to go easy on them. Heck, your buddy
violent crime is higher in California than in Florida. However, I don't know if that's a matter of like what kind of crimes are tracked. You goofed and said California is worse? Oh, did I? Sorry. Florida loses to California on gun violence every time.
He has failed the people of California.
I love this guy talking about backing the blue when you dangled pardons for January 6th insurrectionists, 85 of them that were charged with attacking law enforcement. You talk a big game about backing the blue. With all due respect to the crime rate, again, he's not answering the fact.
Yeah, Florida's murder rate by firearms 14.1%. California's 9%.
Higher gun death rate than the state of California. And I can easily answer this point. Gun safety saves lives. I don't think it. I know it. And the data bears that out in the state of California.
California used to have a pretty high fucking gun violence rate. And since they fucking put in gun safety measures, California's gun violence rate has gone down dramatically and is lower than the national national average.
You moved in the exact opposite direction. With all due
that even goes for
respect,
Illinois,
look
where
at your
Chicago
own
exists. You know
backyard,
what I mean? Like
Ron.
everywhere where there's actual gun regulation, gun violence is lower than red states. 100%. It's not even a question. This argument is like so fucking stupid.
In LA, one in Tampa, one in Orlando. They were endangering the public, and I removed them from their posts. Gavin Newsom is not.
But the Florida has less, by the way, in 2019. No, they had less mass shootings in 2019.
That county's collapsed. He is not enforcing.
That doesn't mean anything. What do you mean?
Here's the
great
thing.
American city.
This is what's happening. That California model, that's done in Philadelphia.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, I'll have you know, it doesn't matter if like Florida's fucking gun violence and murder rate is almost double the California number. I'll have you know, in 2019, California had more mass shootings.
You have a higher murder rate in the state of Florida and the state of California. We got some of the lowest crime rates we've had in 50 years.
We'll have more with Governor DeSantis, Governor Gavin Newsom on the other side as we continue the great state debate, blue versus red. It's hardly.
That's such a stupid fucking. I know that person was joking. He must have been. Both had more than most countries. Yeah, no shit. You want to know why both had more than most countries? Because they literally have fucking too many guns in America. It doesn't matter. It's still an American problem. When you have more guns, you're going to have higher homicide numbers across the board. And when you have more guns, you're going to have more gun violence across the board. So, yes. So, you know, the per capita argument doesn't matter if it's bigger than most countries. Doesn't matter. Because that's still, you're adjusting it per capita. You're adjusting it to the civilian, to the population. Overall. Having said that, however, no, Florida being bigger than most countries or California being bigger than most countries doesn't mean anything. We're talking about raw numbers of mass shootings. Yes, California has more people, so they're going to have more mass shootings. That's normal. But that's not even relevant because mass shooting numbers are not fucking relevant. 2019 mass shooting numbers of California is not relevant to the conversation of gun violence, okay? Like, I wonder why they used 2019 as an example. Yeah, it's like saying you got to take out suicide numbers when you're looking at gun violence. Like, what the fuck do you mean? If you use a gun in your suicide, you're more likely to kill yourself. So, yeah, no, I think it's very relevant. It's like saying, no, sorry, you can't use accidental discharge deaths in your gun violence statistics. It's like, no, I can, because that's still a gun. And if there wasn't a gun, it would not have happened. Mass shootings are proportional to guns, not population. Wait, what do you mean? If there's more population, there also will be more guns as well. What are you talking about? It's also 2019. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's since 2019. Sorry. Okay, well, regardless. I thought it was just 2019. I thought that was really funny. Most mass shooters get guns legally and are the first offenders a lot of the time, so I don't know why they said that. Yeah. Ceasefire in Gaza extended by another day, by the way, according to Wall Street Journal, says Elant News. Congratulations to all the peace lovers out there, all the lovers of extending peace. Anyway. Most car deaths are accidental and are still bunched together with intentional car deaths. Yeah, well, you can't do that, actually. But let me tell you, if we're looking at intentional car vehicular manslaughter, okay, intentional vehicular manslaughter, not accidental, Florida will take the cake, 100%. Florida has probably the highest number of... Yeah, it's like, sorry, we're looking at car deaths. Well, we're going to take out DUIs now. Anyway, a lot of this stuff is really stupid. And it's just like very carefully massaging numbers. It's done very frequently. It's done all the time. This is how Republicans operate all the fucking time. They like to play fast and loose with numbers. Overall, though, a way to describe it. There's always a reason for it. Like at the top of the hour, the number of people that see the top of the hour ad break, which is 3 minutes long, gets lower and lower year over year. How does that happen? Well, it's because many people are subscribing. Such a bad debate. That's stupid. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. Anyway. Fumbled it. I fumbled it. Shut the fuck up. God, this debate was shit.
Hi, welcome back to Hannity, the great red state, blue state debate. We continue with Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, Governor Gavin Newsom of the state of California. Gentlemen, let's turn to the issue of parental rights. Now, in March of last year, Governor DeSantis, as you know, you signed the Parental Rights in Education bill. And let me read from it. It says, classroom instruction.
Framing this as parental rights is so nasty. You're a nasty freak. You're a fucking bad guy. You're a bad guy. You're a nasty bitch.
In a manner that is not age appropriate.
Oh, they're doing parental. They're framing it, dude. It's like debating abortion. Debating abortion on Fox News and then framing it as like baby murder. Is it appropriate? Gavin Newsom, you've said it's the best. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean parental control?
Should schools be focusing on reading, writing, math, science, history, computers, and maybe leaving values, considering parents might have different values than teachers at school, to the parents, to religious institutions? Or is it the role of the school? What is the role?
The role of the school is to educate kids, not indoctrinate kids. It's not to impose an agenda. It's to do the basics.
It's not to impose an agenda, which is why we're teaching white supremacist education and PragerU to our children.
Their gender is a choice. It's inappropriate to tell a second grader that they may have been born in the wrong body. Now, California has that. They want to have that injected into the elementary school. My wife and I have a 7-5 and a 3-year-old. We don't think that that's appropriate. And I know most parents do not think it's appropriate. It's also important to respect parental rights, to know what curriculum is being used in the classroom, and everything should be age appropriate. I actually have something that I brought that some parents have objected
what did he bring?
To. So this is a book that's in some of the schools in California. In Florida, this is not consistent with our standards. It's called Gender Queer. Some of it's blocked out. You would not probably be able to put this on there. This is pornography. It's cartoons. It's aimed at children, and it's wrong. So this should not be in schools. When people like on the left say that somehow you're
why do you have a
printout? This from a young kid's classroom. No, this is not age appropriate. And so we're going to stand for the rights of parents. I think we need to do that nationwide. I don't think you can have
pulled out the pocket sand.
States just trample on the rights of parents. Parents have a fundamental right to direct the education and upbringing of their kids.
I mean, by the way, you've been on a banning bench. 1,406 books have been banned just last year under Ron DeSantis' leadership. I love that he keeps pulling this out. I've seen this. He's been doing this all over the campaign.
He pulled out like a cartoon of like.
It's not banned.
What's wrong? It's not true.
I don't know. It was like a sex ed cartoon or something. It's so funny.
1,406. 1,406.
He's doing the thing.
Have been banned.
He's doing the thing. That's gross. That's weird, man. That's weird. You're being weird. Why are they being so weird? Conservatives need to stop being weird.
Process. We actually require parental engagement.
Bro, you can't pull that out and then have people go, oh, that's a normal thing that you just did.
Grade sexual education, that doesn't happen until middle school. What you're doing is using education as a sword for your cultural purge. And you know what? With all due respect, you know, I remember in the 1970s, we had a bill called the Briggs Initiative. And there was a guy by the name of Ronald Reagan, so offended by the Briggs Initiative, which was the original Don't Say Gay bill. In that case, it was not allowing teachers that happened to be gay to teach. And Reagan had the courage to stand up, and he said, you can't catch gay like you can measles. I don't like the way you demean people. I don't like the way you demean the LGBT community.
Beat his ass like that Chinese boy on the basketball courts. Newsom.
I find this fundamentally offensive, and this is a core value that distinguishes the values of my state and, frankly, the vast majority of Americans against the weaponization of education and the purging that he's advancing.
I have a follow-up question for you, though. And by the way, first, Governor, yes or no? Are the book banning issues, is that not a state issue? Is that a state issue or a local issue?
It's local, and he's
okay. That's all I want to know.
The home book wasn't there.
Wow. Wow. Sean Hannity giving him an out. He's like, come on, it's just a local issue, right?
Some of the books you're talking about, one is called the governor just brought it up. It's called Gender Queer, a memoir. Explicit pornographic book showing sex acts. Another, Flamer, graphic book about young boys performing sex acts at summer camp. This book is gay, a book containing instructions on the ins and outs of gay sexuality. Let me finish. Let's Talk About It, a book that contains graphic descriptions about how to masturbate for males and females. My question to you, Governor Newsom, those books, do you believe that's appropriate for school districts to teach kids, yes or no?
Come on, those aren't, it's not part of the curriculum. They're not teaching
those
kids
are those are books that were in school.
Hold on. The bottom line is you are on a book banning binge, your state. 1,406 books, 3,362 in this country.
You didn't answer.
Florida's
what about those books?
That's not, we don't provide for K through third grade education, that kind of curriculum. It's just made up. These guys make it up. It's part of this cultural purge.
Should it
it's
be
just a made up agenda.
That's the educational material that he brought up on stage for those of you who wanted to see. It's blurred. He blurred it too.
A very significant number of these books happen to be LGBTQ books. A significant number of these books happen to be about African Americans.
Do you think it's
honestly find it
Governor?
I told
do you think it's appropriate in school?
We don't teach that. We have sex education in middle schools and high schools where it's appropriate. This is a ginned up, made up issue to divide this country. You talk about dividing this country. This is part of the culture war, the weaponization of grievance. This is part using education. We're focusing on math, science. We're focusing on reimagining our school system.
We're going to get to education
He's criminalizing teachers and criminalizing librarians that check out the wrong book.
The schools to impose a liberal agenda, social justice. They have this ethnic studies where they're dividing people. That's what they're doing. But let me just
Gender Queer, a memoir by Maya Kababe.
Parents' rights. This is rich. He's been telling a lot of whoppers tonight. This may be the biggest. In California,
a lot of whoppers.
If you're a parent in Iowa or New Hampshire or South Carolina, your minor child can go to California without your knowledge or without your consent and get hormone therapy, puberty blockers, and a sex change operation, all without you knowing or consenting.
Wait, what?
How in the heck is that honoring parents'
what?
rights? When
No,
you're
that's not true.
Their parents' backs and getting life-altering surgery.
You can't get fucking life-altering surgery before the age of 18. Especially not without parental consent. What are you saying?
You know what? And the parents do not want their kids
survive.
going to these other things.
Let me go to a follow-up. Let me stay on a follow-up. Let's turn to the issue of education.
Where's your decency and humanity and grace when it comes
of ripping somebody away.
Gentlemen, please. Nobody can hear you.
That is wrong. That is wrong.
I'll tell you.
All right.
That should not stand in this country.
Let us turn, gentlemen, if I may, to the issue of education. Here is public school spending per K through 12 students, according to the Education Data Initiative from the U.S. Census Bureau and National Center for Education. Florida spends nearly $12,000 per student, while California spends over $16,000. Florida is ranked #1 by U.S. News & World Report. In terms of state education rankings, California ranks 20th. Governor Newsom, what is your explanation? You spend more money and they have better results in Florida. Why?
I just told you what I'm doing in public education. We created a brand new grade, pre-K for all. We're doing after school and summer school for all. We're reimagining the school day, not just the school year. We just provided 3.4 million of our students upwards of $2 billion for child savings accounts and the opportunity to start businesses when they graduate. We have one of the best records under COVID, during COVID. And again, you didn't answer to the fact you had more learning loss. Ron DeSantis had more learning loss during COVID. 4th grade reading, 4th grade math, 8th grade reading, 8th grade math. We outperformed you in it's a fact during COVID in every one of those categories. I can't wait to get all the PolitiFacts tonight because, Ron, you keep denying some basic fundamental facts on health, wealth, and education. We outperformed you during COVID. You talk about things to apologize. You should apologize for your COVID record. You were with Fauci.
Florida on educational attainment is higher than California, but not by a lot. But it's not #1. It's 21.
All of those people, June of 2020, he kept the schools closed for a long time, and that had devastating impacts. And why? What Gavin Newsom does in California is kowtow to the teachers union.
It's number one in education for higher.
He does.
I think it's number one in education for higher education. Yeah, it's number 14 in pre-K through.
And so is Kamala Harris. That's why they fought school openings when he came in.
Yeah, he wasn't talking about like education when you understand the way we understand education. He was talking about higher education.
To be able to do all these different things to try to keep the schools closed. So the Democratic Party, the far left in this country, they are owned lock, stock, and barrel by the teachers
union.
Wait,
is this opinion poll or is this actually
to get the schools open first in the country during COVID? Also to do universal school choice. Every parent in Florida has a right to send their kid to the school of their choice. We're winning these fights. California is bending the knee to the union because they control the politicians.
Right, let's move on. A topic that will
Gavin Newsom isn't a gruesome twosome.
True. In the future elections, and it's the issue.
No, what the U.S. News and World Report ranking is fucking. It's age adjusted, guys. They age adjusted the rankings.
Right to answer uninterrupted, and that is Governor DeSantis. I think it's actually your turn, Governor.
It's age-adjusted educational rankings.
All good.
Most medical professionals believe a baby is viable outside of a mother's womb by between 24 and 26
Where
weeks.
is the fucking state-by-state education? God damn it. Let me find it real quick.
Abortion is legal in your state, quote, up to viability, is my understanding, unless the mother's health is in danger. I'd like to get you on the record. You've been unwilling to answer this question. Should there be any restrictions on the issue of abortion that you support at all? Because funding in California,
I think the best way to answer this is no restrictions on abortion, as long as there is any kind of detriment to the carrier.
Restrictions at all.
That's the most politically sound way of answering this question. It's a hot potato.
Past viability.
I'm going to answer that question, but let's talk about the issue of abortion. Let's talk about the issue of abortion.
You're going to answer it?
I'm going to answer that question.
Because, like, when you say no restrictions on abortion, they immediately cynically go, oh, what about 9 months in 1 day? And it's like that's why you're in America. That's why you're supposed to say, as long as there's any kind of detriment to the carrier. Because there's no place in the United States of America where you can get an abortion for funsies in the 3rd trimester, right? And that's not even a thing that people do anyway. So it's like a very stupid thing to argue on. It's a very stupid point to argue regardless because it doesn't exist and it's not even legal. Which is precisely why you should always say no restrictions on abortion, no restrictions on abortion if there is a detriment to the carrier. That's it. Because the only states that allow that actually allow 3rd trimester abortions only allow it when there is some kind of detriment to the carrier.
And her doctor, for any reason.
Not for any reason.
No. I'm asking.
Extremely rare.
Should there be?
See, he's doing the wrong thing. He's saying it's extremely rare. Don't even say that. Just say detriment to the life.
Where you guys have to go to cover for the extreme anti-abortion agenda of Ron DeSantis.
Should there be? Would you?
The best possible way to fucking describe this is by saying it is incredibly rare.
If the mother's
He answered like you wanted to. He also said detriment to life. No, he shouldn't fucking answer that framing the way he's asking the question.
If it's rare, should it be illegal? It should be up to the mother and her doctor and her conscience. And it
so the answer is no restriction.
I've already answered it, and I'll just reinforce it. To cover
no, see, he's saying no restriction. No restriction.
I have a simple question though. This is important.
No restriction when there's a detriment to the carrier.
A 6-week ban in the unlikely case.
That's it.
Let's
talk about a national ban.
Let's talk about your state.
That. He's you had
15 weeks.
This is a gimme. This is a gotcha. He should have fucking killed it.
You reduced it to 6. My question is this. What was your thinking behind it? Was it for religious reasons? Was it for scientific reasons? What was the reason for you from going from 15 weeks to 6 weeks?
Well, I believe in a culture of life. I think we're better off when everybody counts, when everybody has an opportunity to do well, and that bill attaches when there's a detectable heartbeat. for the child. And some states have done that. Some states have done others. Some states have done later. And obviously they have a right to do that.
Ranked number 2 in California.
About one of our Floridians,
what are these numbers, though?
She actually survived a late-term abortion back in the day. And they left her on the table there to basically wither away. Her grandmother came, saved her, brought her to a hospital, saved her, and she ended up living a
He's doing the baby. He's doing the baby in the pan. The baby in the pan conversation.
The position that we have from the modern left, including in California, is that they will take your tax dollars and they will fund abortion all the way to the moment of birth. He's wrong when he says the later terms are all because of this. 88% past 15 weeks are, in fact, elective from the Florida data. He doesn't keep data there. But that is really extreme, to take your tax dollars and to do this all the way up to the moment of birth. He didn't answer your question about any type of protections at all for a baby that has a beating heart, that can feel pain, that is viable.
But respectfully, this is an important conversation. Will you or will you not support a national
Sean, why didn't you answer
or will you
question?
Not support a national ban if it lands on your desk? You couldn't answer that in any other context.
Okay,
answer
gentlemen,
it tonight. It's a simple yes or no. By the way,
next issue.
Hey, no, Sean, not a next issue.
You never gave a week.
The American people should know this. I'll answer it for Ron DeSantis. Can't answer it. He will sign that extreme 6-week
let me move on.
ban. The American people should know that.
I'm calling this the lightning round. It would be great if you guys cooperated. I'm not a potted plant here. And I want to ask you, we all know that federal policy does have a huge impact on states. We know that. I'm going to ask you 3 simple questions, and I just want one-word answers, okay, from 3 of you, because we're coming
one-word answer is going to be the fucking word.
The issue is right now Joe Biden is president. So I would like both of you to give a grade to Joe Biden overall as president. Governor Newsom.
Gavin's about to dig right him like crazy. He's getting 10-10.
Failed.
And a failure. Okay.
No, that's your
now. Number 2, are his policies helping or hurting your individual states? Is it helping the state of Florida?
The inflation is hurting our state big time.
Grade.
Fail. He failed. He's failed on the economy.
The guy just took $28 million from the Science and Tech Act. Thank you, Joe Biden. It's absolutely accelerating our dominance in manufacturing, accelerating our revitalization.
Okay, that was a simple answer.
Unequivocally,
lastly,
absolutely yes.
Okay, I will ask you, Governor DeSantis. I have played over and over again, and Governor Newsom, you have seen over and over again. Joe Biden is experienced what I believe to be significant cognitive decline. And in other words, it's the toughest job in the world. Is Joe Biden experiencing this cognitive decline? Is it a danger to the country? Do you find when he speaks, what is your reaction to
what a question.
Yes,
hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fucking mentally disabled would you say Joe Biden is? Is an insane framing. I mean, he is, but it's like wild that that's the question. That's the way he presented the question.
And it is dangerous for this country.
Well,
I mean, he is.
I will take Joe
he
Biden
is. But it's wild that the moderator.
Any day of the week at any age. In fact, all of the folks.
You think he's up to the job? You think he's
how disabled do you think Joe Biden is?
Let him answer.
And
by the way,
actually, wait, I'll take it one step further. He said, how disabled do you think Joe Biden is? And how bad do you think his disability is hurting the country?
5.2% GDP growth in the last quarter. Those are facts you don't hear on Fox News. 14 million jobs, 10 times more than the last 3.
Let me move on. That was the lightning round. Now, on March 31st,
what a lightning round.
1968, President Lyndon B. Johnson famously said, I shall not seek and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
The question was age adjusted?
Now, despite being an incumbent president who is eligible to run for re-election, Governor Newsom, I've interviewed you twice on this issue. You say you are not running for president in 2024. In fact, quote, you think that Vice President Harris is naturally the one lined up to run for president if Joe Biden were to bow out. Governor Newsom, tonight I ask you, will you make an LBJ-like statement? And Governor DeSantis, you say he's running a shadow campaign. In your response, I would like you to answer that. Will you say unequivocally, under no circumstances are you running?
Correct. I've said, I don't know how many times I can say it. Just making this stuff up about a shadow campaign.
If
Bottom line,
if at the DNC convention they come and ask you, will you run? What will you say?
Joe Biden will be our nominee in a matter of weeks. And in a matter of weeks, Sean, he'll be endorsing Donald Trump as a nominee for the Republican Party.
Come to you at the DNC and Joe is incapable of running, they ask you, are you a
daggered him. That's hard. That's rough. Don't say that. He's hurt it. Look at Ron's face.
Respect the work the president's doing and the vice president's, the Biden-Harris campaign and team. So absolutely unequivocally, I look forward
would be the
to continuing to support their efforts. President Biden will be reelected. Donald Trump will be rejected.
I think what he's saying should color every single thing. I mean, I've called him on a lot of the lies, but he says
Joe
Biden
man.
is 100% up to the job. You know that that's not true. Anybody that can look, he wants you to believe him over your own lying eyes. When he says the economy is so great, how great is it when you're going to the grocery store now? How great is it when you're trying to afford a home? How are those interest rates doing? What about affording a new car? So we have to get real here. We have to understand that Biden is not up to job. But here's I think the problem. What Biden would do, the people around him, they would look to California.
I go to the grocery store and I say, it's sugar, man.
That would accelerate the decline of this country. Yeah. Freedom is what works. The failures need to be left in the dustbin of history.
Yeah, tell freedom to women that you're trying to criminalize in your state. And
all right, we're retreating to old ground. For years,
this notion of freedom, gentlemen, Florida is not a state of freedom.
One of the things I wanted to accomplish here is the policies that you both implement have a great impact on the citizens of your individual states. For years, a gallon of gasoline, Governor Newsom in California, has been notably higher in your state than in the state of Florida.
That's right.
Here are the numbers, by the way, recent numbers. The average cost for a gallon of gas nationwide, just over $3.24. In Florida, $3.17. In California, it is a whopping $4.85. So, Governor Newsom, I ask you, you've also sued big oil companies, alleging executives have deceived the public about the health of our planet, knowing that it's a polluter. If your lawsuit is successful, that would likely mean higher gas prices, even higher gas prices for everybody. Here's my question, though. Could you name right now one source of energy that you can bring online in the next 3 to 6 months that would be as inexpensive for the people in this country as fossil fuels?
Well, let me touch.
Can you think of that energy?
Let me touch on I'm going to get to your question, and then let me touch the latter part of your question. Let me give the first part of the question.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. Since the 1980s, Republican administrations, Democratic administrations have experienced under their stewardship, experienced higher gas prices in the state of California. We've been ripped off by big oil. We continue to be ripped off by big oil. Big oil now has met a new foe, and that's the state of California, the most aggressive anti-gouging law in America, more transparency being required than any time in America. And yes, we're suing the industry responsible for this climate crisis. By the way, the same climate crisis that Ron DeSantis celebrated as human-caused, who campaigned for a fracking ban, who campaigned to oppose offshore oil drilling, and then 2 days after he got elected, signed an executive order. By the way, Nikki Haley had you dead to right on this, Ron. Signed an executive order doubling down, saying you're adamantly opposed to fracking.
You're woke.
Adamantly opposed.
You're woke, Ron. You're fucking woke. Get with the program, you bitch. You love the fucking coral reefs, bitch. That's why you stopped oil drilling on your shores, bitch.
You're running away from climate change as things have gotten worse. Hurricanes,
is sugar man
and floods. 179
go woke, get broke, Ron.
Of weather-related disasters, and he has no response except talking points from big oil.
Governor
Newsom, that was a mouthful. Again, just more. California's the only one that oil companies are gouging. Why aren't they doing that to Georgia or Florida or these other states that have lower gas prices? Because of their policies. That's why people are paying more there. What Gavin Newsom wants to do, what he's doing in California, what Biden wants to do nationally is government-dictated green energy policies. They want to kneecap fossil fuels and reliable energy. We've already seen what's happened in California. They have rolling blackouts. He actually implemented a mandate to buy electric vehicles. So pretty soon in California, you're not going to be able
Our rolling blackouts are due to fucking like wildfires. What is he talking about?
There was a notice from the state government telling all EV owners, do not plug in your EV because they don't have enough grid capacity. So he is walking his people into a big-time disaster. What Biden wants to do is he wants to take the California model. He wants to impose that nationally. He wants to take away your ability to purchase.
Yeah, bro
the car
made it
that
seem
you
like California's like South Africa or Turkey. You know what I mean?
Across the United States of America.
I have an EV.
It doesn't
yes,
work.
I do.
It's going to cause huge problems. We have more energy here. We can be the dominant energy producer in the world,
Florida.
and that's what we're going to do. Florida is not a big energy state. We have the Marcellus Shale. We have the West Texas. We have all of that. So let's do that. No forcing electric vehicles.
We got to take a break.
Save the American automobile.
When we come back, we'll continue the great state, red state, blue state debate.
God, these debates are so fucking stupid, but I guess pure comedy in some ways, yes. Yeah. They're not rolling blackouts. In the state of California, we have pre-planned blackouts due to wind and like to ensure that there aren't like wildfires, but that's it. I mean, our infrastructure is dog shit for sure. Still better than Florida, though.
Tour of our 9/11 mobile exhibit.
Oh, never mind. Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
He's helping us to never forget those who have sacrificed so much.
You guys are doing amazing work.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation is it. Murad has actually participated in this.
And Gold Star widows that their loved ones died in the line of duty and leave young
Were you?
children behind.
It's weird that Mark Wahlberg, who once famously fucking said that he would, if he was on the 9/11 flight out of Boston, things would have gone down way differently and had to apologize, is now pumping up a 9/11 charity. But yeah, no, this is where they do this is where they do this, like they walk like first responders and everyone else, like it's like almost like a marathon where they walk from the tunnels all the way into the towers, I think, right? Like, or they run up the towers too. What a tool. I didn't know he said that. Yeah, he said, if I was on those fucking planes, dude, would have gone down differently. Let's just say it would have gone down differently. Macky Mac. He would have finished the job on Flight 93. Yeah, that's what he meant. Wouldn't have gone down like that. All right? Wouldn't have gone down like that, all right? Anyway, would have played a shitty music and the terrorists would have simply given up. No, that's an Onion article that is making a joke, but Mark Wahlberg did say that. One post 9/11, one guy post 9/11 saying how all we needed was a baseball. Or was that Bill Burr who said that? No. To be fair, if the hijackers were Vietnamese, it definitely would have gone down differently. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg would have activated the powerful Irish, the powerful Bostonian racism. He would have hate crimed the hijackers. Oh, no. That's so stupid. God, these dude, Fox News ads are comedy. Look at this.
$19.99 a year. Our lowest price of the year. For a limited time only, sign up today.
Fox Nation ads.
Self-setup featuring Google Nest products. Now you can easily install your system that's backed by ADT's 24/7 monitoring with no long-term contracts.
Have fun.
If you want to monitor your kids and ensure that they're not doing gay shit when you're not around.
The big moments and critical takeaways. Then Trace Gallagher has must-see inside-in analysis on Fox News at Night.
Welcome back to Hannity, the Great Red State Debate. We continue with Governor Gavin Newsom, Governor Ron DeSantis.
Fucking got him.
The Department of Housing.
Oh my God, I'm a chatter. I'm literally a chatter. I'm making fun of him for misspeaking.
For the homeless population in each of your states. It is a big problem around the country. In the state of California, it is 172,000. In Florida, it is 26,000. Now, the per capita number.
He's so cooked. He's so cooked.
For California,
Gruesome is cooked on this. This is why. By the way, I love this debate actually, low key, because I told you guys that Gruesome Governor Gavin Newsom would get fucking absolutely cumstered on a national stage because his state is absolute garbo. Even on aspects where it's not garbo, it literally is portrayed as garbo. So like he would have to unironically have to combat like misinformation. And also, half the time, there are real problems in the state. This is one of them. This is like a major issue.
But it's caused a huge problem with quality of life in California. The people that flee always bring up this. They've really empowered
people that
lawlessness
flee.
and drug use.
Bro,
and,
he's acting like people leaving fucking... People leaving Isla Vista are they're fleeing. They're refugees, dude. They come to Boca Raton like, oh my God, thank God.
Freedom to defecate in public in California. You have the freedom to pitch a tent on Sunset Boulevard. You have the freedom to create a homeless encampment under a freeway and even light it on fire. You have the freedom to have an open air drug market and use drugs. You have the freedom, if you're an illegal alien, to get all these taxpayer benefits. So those are freedoms.
What benefits?
They're not the freedoms our
what benefits, dumbass?
Envisioned, but they have contributed
what
to
fucking benefits, stupid?
Quality of life in California, and the results speak for themselves. People are leaving the state because they have failed in addressing the homeless population.
Yeah, motherfuckers leaving Rancho Cucamonga, escaping.
Criminalizing teachers, criminalizing doctors, criminalizing librarians, and criminalizing women that seek their reproductive care. You're making it harder to vote. You're banning books. I mean, spare me this notion of freedom. Ask the folks at Disney about freedom and free enterprise. Ask the folks at the Special Olympics.
Yeah, he's cooked. That's why he's like flinging. Look at him fucking flinging around like a rat. Like a sexy ass rat though, not like an ugly one. Like he'd be like a hot rat in Ratatouille.
That is that's being a liberal bully. That's being a bully.
Really?
They had Down syndrome and you wanted to discriminate against them.
$27 million
they were discriminating against because they were discriminating against the athletes. They wanted to marginalize the athletes, and you wanted the athletes marginalized.
Why is
that was wrong what you did. These are kids with Down syndrome that just wanted to compete.
I grew up working
and you wanted them out of the
kids. I've been working with Special Olympians all my life.
You wanted them to be ostracized.
You threatened to fine the Special Olympians
from Florida.
She got to participate because we stood up for her rights. This is how you treat. By the way, no, hold on.
It's your turn.
No, let me say, I can handle that. I can handle it. I'm used to that. But you know what? Your attacks on the trans community, your attack on the gay and lesbian community,
that's wrong.
You attack vulnerable communities, you attack women.
And we made sure they could compete.
Ron, relax. I can handle it. I'm used to bullying. You're nothing but a bully.
You're a bully.
I understand that. Intimidating and humiliating people, that's your calling card.
Why did you want the Special Olympians not to be able to compete?
How well is it going for you?
Why did you want them not to be able to compete?
How well is this campaign going?
Why do you not want them to be able to compete?
He's not going to let me talk, so I'll talk to the American people.
I don't understand why you would want to discriminate
against I'll remind you, the blueprint,
he wanted them to be excluded from the Special Olympics.
Has put Ron DeSantis 41 points down.
Is Ron DeSantis' new strategy accusing Gavin Newsom of ableism? Is he trying to increase Gavin Newsom's bona fides in the Fox News audience?
In the making in the state of California, ever since we started shuttering down.
First, he called him a bully. Then he said he's ableist. What the fuck?
The difference is I'm the first governor in California history.
No, Jank has to leave. We can't have a Jank off.
We're investing unprecedented resources, more accountability. We've gotten 68,000 people off the streets, close to 6,000 encampments we've gotten off the streets. We've also invested in unprecedented resources.
There's no Jank off, folks.
Our behavioral health system. Ron has literally the worst mental health system in America, forgive me, outside of Mississippi and Texas.
Forgive me.
With all due respect to being lectured on some of these topics, Ron DeSantis is not the one I'm going to be listening.
30-second response. You're well, I'm looking at total time. Governor DeSantis about 2 minutes.
He needs it.
This is a map of San Francisco. There's a lot of plots on that. You may be asking, what is that plotting? Well, this is an app where they plot the human feces that are found on the streets of San
Bro,
Francisco.
stop with these
and you
props,
see how
dude.
almost the whole thing is covered, because that is what has happened.
Bro, what else has he got in his pockets, dude? He's got the weirdest shit.
Ever had. Human feces is now a fact of life, except when a communist dictator comes to town. Then they cleaned up the streets. They lined the streets with Chinese flags. They didn't put American flags there. They cleaned everything up. So they're willing to do it for a communist dictator, but they're not willing to do it for their own people.
Dude, oh my God. Can you imagine they do a high-speed rail for a communist dictator too?
Hamas terror attacks on October the 7th. We have seen what is nothing short of a disturbing outbreak of virulent hatred, anti-Semitism around the world, in the halls of our Congress, on American streets.
It's so funny these motherfuckers were all riding the Jews will not replace us crowd on Charlottesville, but like when you got pro-Palestinian protesters, they're like, it's the worst anti-Semitism we've ever seen.
Chanting, gas the Jews, F the Jews. In American cities, we have protesters calling for...
Sean Hannity be like, and the worst of all, they weren't white. They weren't wearing swastikas. It's so scary. It's scary when you got someone saying free Palestine. Much scarier than someone actually being fucking anti-Semitic.
U.S. officials have warned Israel that they need more to fight more surgically in Gaza. Governor Newsom, 30 seconds for you. We have to cut back on time.
All right.
How can Israel win the war against this terrorist group using surgical strikes and directions from Joe Biden?
Israel. I visited Israel. I met with families, hostages. I saw videos of children being killed in front of their parents.
Yeah, he's gonna hit him with the fucking. He's gonna be like Ron DeSantis. I'm
a garden hoe.
I'm way more progressive. I'm way more pro-Israel to you, Ron.
Hamas is a terrorist organization, and they need to be eliminated, not just for the people of Israel and Jews around the world, but for the Palestinians themselves. But when it comes to the issue of anti-Semitism, you just mentioned a lot of things that have been occurring on Ron DeSantis's watch. He said nothing.
You're calling him anti-Semitic?
Marching. I'm saying he countenanced anti-Semitism, and now he's finally talking a big game ever since October 7th. How about the masked man marching the street? Jews get the rope.
Gentlemen,
you said nothing.
Governor DeSantis.
Nothing on these issues. Look at the record.
Governor DeSantis. Than a second Holocaust. They want to destroy Israel and wipe every single Jew off the map. Israel has every right to defend itself to the hilt. Biden should not be kneecapping them.
They're having a mid-off,
And by the way, Biden stranded a lot of American citizens over there. We're trying to get home. So I did an executive order in Florida, and we sent planes over to Israel right in the aftermath of October 7th. And we saved over 700 Americans, mostly Floridians, but not all, because Biden wouldn't do it. Finally, Biden started dumping people in Greece. And then they were sending a bill to the Americans.
Ron DeSantis like, I paratrooped into Gaza.
Illegally, they will pay to fly you all over the place. They'll put you up in hotel at no expense. But yet our own citizens fleeing a war zone, they're going to send you a bill. Joe Biden failed those people, and we stepped up and got it.
I think he means like he sent planes to Israel to like fucking get Floridians out or something. What the fuck?
I talk about this often. Intellectual property theft, unfair trade practices. China has been hostile to our fighter jets in international airspace, hostile to our Navy in international waterways. We know all about the China spy balloon that happened 8 days right across the United States over military installations. The communist Chinese, they have nationals buying up thousands of acres of ranch land, farmland, and land near military installations. Their hostility towards Taiwan. They are, Governor DeSantis, our #1 geopolitical foe. I don't see that the Biden administration has been tough with them.
There is no end in sight with like how fucking virulently pro-Nazi Floridians are. It's wild that Ron DeSantis gets to even talk on this issue. Like, it's insane to me.
China should not be involved.
Every week they're like, we love Ron DeSantis almost as much as we love Hitler rallies. Like, they're doing rallies every week. Ron DeSantis hired like a bunch of little Hitlerian children for his campaign. They were putting the Sonnenrad in the fucking campaigns. The fuck do you mean he cares about anti-Semitism?
China and grovel in front of Xi like Gavin Newsom did. He says China's a partner on climate change. China's adding 2 new coal plants every year. China's laughing at us with what they're doing. So yes, they're the #1 threat we face, and we need to take it
China
seriously.
is literally dominating.
This is just a reminder,
dominating the renewables game right now.
I think it's a question some people are probably asking. I know Nikki Haley's campaign is asking, when are you going to drop out and at least give Nikki Haley a shot to take down Donald Trump in this nomination? She laid you out. You're a walking hypocrite. What about you're a walking?
He's bobbling. He hates it. Look at him. He's bobbling.
Was looking for direct foreign trade from China. Was doing trade shows.
That is
open
false.
up an awesome.
That's already been debunked. You talk about the liberal fact checkers. Even the liberal fact checkers
Donald
did
Trump
that.
himself today called you Red Ron for a reason, because of your complete hypocrisy.
All right, we're almost out of time.
Talking a big game. I confronted Xi on the issue of fentanyl, Ron. I confronted them
on human rights. You didn't.
I absolutely did, with the foreign minister and the vice president and other leaders in China. You talk a big game. Meanwhile, you haven't done anything except tweet.
Like, what the fuck is Gavin Newsom doing about
DeSantis,
China's human rights abuses, bro? Fucking fix homelessness, you stupid fuck.
5 seconds. What do I get?
No, I'll do okay. I'll be a little more generous than that. Look, it's been a very passionate debate tonight. Actually, it's been fun to be a part of. I think the American people will decide. Governing philosophies could not be more different. But let me ask you this, kind of a fun question. You both clearly love your states. You visited each other's state. Governor DeSantis, you can take as much time as you want. You have an extra 90 seconds. What is your favorite thing about the state of California? And
I give him 5 minutes for this.
Go right ahead.
That's a good question.
All right, we'll stay longer. 5 minutes, Governor.
When I got orders as a Navy lieutenant to go to Naval Amphibious Base Coronado, I had not spent any real time in California.
He can't talk about California without talking about the Navy.
But I got down there, and that Strand is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. And then all up and down, just a tremendous coastline. I do believe California has more natural advantages than any state in the country, which is why when you have so many people leaving on net, that's hard to do. Like, people don't want to leave there because it really is such a beautiful area. And I'm proud of the military installations that are there. I'm proud of what the Navy's been able to do in conjunction with the state. It was really important duty. It really helped forge me as an individual and as an American. And so I'll always have very, very fond memories of that nice Strand down there in Southern California.
I love that. I mean,
what do you love? No, what do you love? I don't know what you love about
used to call California Coast of Dreams. By the way,
what do you love about Florida?
What I love about your question is the comedy in the question, meaning, you know what? We all want to be loved. We need to be loved. We all want to be protected, respected, and connected. I think there is a unity frame here. Okay. You said it well. I mean, Ron, I have no doubt Ron DeSantis loves this country. I love this country. It's not about red versus blue. It's red, white, and blue. The United States of America. And I think we're all better off.
He's so whack. He's so whack. God, he's such a fucking... Oh, he sucks.
Ron, being a family man, you got 3 incredible kids.
He sucks.
I appreciate your wife, your sacrifice.
Oh, whoa, that's a threat. That's a threat. That's a threat. That's a threat. You don't want that.
This country. And that's
oh, he put the stink on him. Oh, it's over. It's over. Ron, he's going to fuck your wife, dude. It's done. It's over. It's GG's.
Right back to 2024.
Oh, God.
Here's the last question. Would you do this again?
He said, I appreciate your wife. Oh, it's done. It's done. He put the mark. He put the mark. He put the mark of death.
Show up to a debate.
That's why
I have another 20 minutes, and I've got a lot of questions.
I'm happy to.
You want to stay?
Let's just do an extended hour. I'm happy to do it.
Okay. Then
this has been fun.
I think it's been fun, and I think it's been more entertaining. I'm sorry to the guests that I've invited. I got to take a break, though, in the meantime. We've got to pay some bills. It's not a cheap set we built for y'all.
Okay. I'm done. I'm done with this. I can't do this no more. Okay. That's enough for me. But having said that, he put the fucking stink on him. He put the stink on him. He said, that's a powerful note to end it on. That's a powerful note to end it on, where he hit him with the I'm gonna fuck your wife, actually. Like, get excited. I am excited. What a stupid fucking debate. Oh my God. Ay. But, you know, I was right. Everything that they brought up about the California Oblast